I just want to know which part specifically is total bullshit.
Well, Candace, you should know. You're part of the bullshit. Yeah, you're part of it. This is why none of these people have wanted you to look into the JFK files or MLK files. Because I think most Americans would be able to put together this PSYOP that Candace and all the other podcasters have been running on Epstein. So let's just stick to the facts, okay? Epstein was a sex offender, okay? Yes, he was trafficking teenage girls, and he was arrested under Trump's first term in 2019. But the connections he has to the Democratic Party are heavy, okay? Except the Democrat Party and their deadbeats, like Candace Owens, Whitney Webb, have been serving an entire PSYOP doing on the American people around Epstein. And it started with Cindy McCain, and the McCains certainly were not friends of Donald Trump's, okay, let's face it. But McCain was a rhino. So really a liberal. So after Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019, then in 2020, Cindy McCain comes out and says, we all knew about Epstein, just nobody was willing to do anything about it. And so everybody ran with that because it was like, wow, everybody, huh? So that was the beginning of the PSYOP that the Democrat Party was working around Epstein and wanting, of course, all of it being, wanting to blame Trump, right? But that's not going to work. But the bullshit is that Epstein was not tied to intelligence. He was not tied to CIA. He was not tied to Mossad. These people hate Israel. They hate the Jews. And so that's why they're doing this. That's why they don't want you to read the JFK files, because it explains all this. You can put together what's happening right now with, it's not hard, which is why they've wanted to distract everybody so that you don't give a shit about those files. No, those files are really important because, first of all, again, the CIA, what it was doing prior to Kennedy, and whatever people, I'm not saying they're perfect, but they were at one point protecting us from communism. Then when JFK came, and everything went to shit when that the MLK, JFK, all went to shit. And what did both of them go after? The intelligence agencies, because communists would want to destroy the reputation of the intelligence agencies. And the intelligence agencies in the last 10 years, of course, they have their reputation is shit because of people like JFK, because of them getting into office and then that bringing in a bunch of progressive liberals that brought in a bunch of communists that over time have infiltrated the FBI, the CIA, and they haven't been working for the American people, which is why 9/11 ended up happening to begin with, okay? So because all of these people doing this PSYOP, and Candace is just one of the many, licking the feet of the Democrat Party, has worked this entire story around intelligence and Epstein, and that's just the continuation of attacking the intelligence agencies that JFK did, that MLK did, that communists did, because the whole role of intelligence agencies was to prevent communism in this country, because, well, we can see what it does to a country. It has destroyed our values. Look at just look at what it brought in, the communist values of DEI. It brought in all this garbage. It's created more unhappiness, which is always what communism does. It's created more burdens and stress, and it's done everything that the Communist Party sets out to do. And who does the Democrat Party serve? The damn Communist Party, okay? especially the progressive liberals, which I think that's really all they are now. That's communism right there, all tied to the same thing. And just look it up. So Cindy McCain comes out and starts the ball rolling by saying, we all knew about Epstein, but nobody wanted to do anything. Well, Trump did do something about it, which the Democrat Party, of course, wouldn't be happy. I mean, because think about it, it wasn't just Epstein. I mean, he did give to the Democrat Party, but then you got Anthony Weiner there, who did end up serving time because of him sexting minors, okay? And he was, you know, a Democrat politician, and his wife being the best friend and advisor to Hillary Clinton, Uma Abedin. Yeah, who now, Uma Abedin is married to George Soros's son, whatever it is, Alex Soros, yeah. And the Soroses, of course, are no friend to this country. And, well, we know, most people know George Soros's telling of his story about his time because he's a Jew, but he was stealing all of the Jew stuff because he was being protected during the Holocaust. Yeah, so he's always hated America. I mean, why we allow him even to operate in this country is beyond me, but of course it's the Democrat Party. So that's what this all is that's the PSYOP. The PSYOP is that you are to believe, and I mean, Whitney Webb wrote an entire bullshit book to help this PSYOP. Is there some truth in her? Sure. Just like what the intelligence agencies do. I mean, that is when they were working for our interests, or when they would have other countries ask them, can you help us because we have this communist movement rising up and we want, and they will infiltrate. They will. To stop it. But when you have communists get into your country, your free country, and get into your intelligence agencies, well, they're going to do the exact opposite. They're going to help further communism. They will lie. They will go after good citizens. They will go after good politicians. And the fact of the matter is that's the bullshit, Candace, and you know what the bullshit is. You know he wasn't tied to Mossad. The reason there's no evidence for that is she bases this off of a whistleblower from Mossad. You know what people really need to do? You need to go look into how many times Mossad has been infiltrated. Any Mossad agent that comes out and starts saying all of this stuff, especially the one she refers back to, Bernikoff or something, I forget his name. Yeah, he was from Iran. Okay? If they're from Iran or Canada, that's all you need to know. And you can say, okay, they truly weren't a friend to Israel. They were infiltrators. Look into it. Yes, Israel's always had a problem with that. I mean, look at the problem we've had with it. I mean, our intelligence agencies have been hijacked by communists. Israel deals with that too, but it doesn't take much to, look into these people and you realize their background goes back to sympathies with Iran. So the very fact, the one she keeps referring to, what she fails to tell you is that he was born and raised in Iran, okay? So that's not a credible whistleblower of Mossad, but they'll come up with some other one. They'll lie. I mean, the Democrats, again, they have no shame. They have no problem lying. That's who Epstein was tied to. That's who he gave money to, was the Democrat Party. That's who, Bill Clinton being one of the biggest politicians that was multiple times on the island, okay? And him and Uma Abedin being, having all this tying to, under sex with underage kids and trafficking. It was the Clintons and the Democrat Party that protected Epstein, okay? It had nothing to do with the intelligence agencies. He's not tied to intelligence. He was given cushy deals because of the Democrat Party. And the entire lie that you, Candace Owens, Whitney Webb, and the rest of you have wrapped around Epstein, well, you're being shown for who you are, because it absolute bullshit. And your PSYOP that you're doing on the American people, well, your fruits, your deeds will be shown for what they are.